Hi, this is Hansa. I'm a principal analyst in the enterprise IT strategy practice at Omdia. And today with me, I have Des O'Connor, who's the cloud intelligence lead at Dell Technologies UK. Welcome, Des. It's so nice to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Today, Des and I are going to talk about how the pandemic and the changes that the pandemic forced upon organizations has had a significant impact on the technology landscape that they use within their organization. So we saw that at the beginning of 2020, when the whole world went down on an unprecedented lockdown, workforces across the globe had to pivot very quickly from an on-premise, in-office working style to a completely remote model. That forced a lot of change around the kind of technologies that organizations were using for collaboration, productivity, for the workspace itself. And Des, that kind of brings me back to you. And in your experience, what impact have you seen on the technology needs of organization that was forced by the rise of remote work, especially brought on by the pandemic?
Well, I think one thing is for sure that change is always constant, and we are looking to how innovation can be really fueled by unprecedented times, as you mentioned in your introduction there. I think what we've really recognized, as I said, is that innovation requires an impetus, and many companies have experimented with and also significantly invested in technology to make sure that they can continue their operations, but most importantly, keep their employees and customers safe while they operate and keep their products and services going through very turbulent times. We're in the fourth industrial revolution, and fundamentally COVID and what's happened across the world in the last 18 months has really fueled a lot of the fourth industrial revolution, focusing on data management, IoT, and AI. And at the moment, we are in a fundamental shift. There has been a big drive to obviously remote working. And now there's a lot of organizations reassessing how they can get their employees back into an office to create a hybrid working culture. And I think that really is looking at how organizations initially dealt with the situation, right? They scrambled to deploy secure technology to people's homes. And I think what we've recognized is that the pandemic has been a wake-up call, and a lot of strategic projects were accelerated to make sure that they could transform and be catapulted into this new way of working. So there is a focus on now looking back at making sure that they remain secure, because at the start of the pandemic, we did see a significant increase in cyber attacks on many organizations. So what we're really finding now as Dell Technologies and our broad depth of portfolio services is that there is now a focus on making sure that the organization's networking and connectivity is stable and secure. There's a focus on endpoint security, making sure that these endpoints are secure so people across the globe can work anytime, anywhere. There's a big drive now on requirements on having pre-configured PCs shipped directly to homes. And there has also been an explosion in data and services online. And I think that has really propelled a lot of organizations to rethink how they store their data. And they have often looked now towards their cloud strategy. And I think that's where we're now launching in the marketplace with Apex, which is an as-a-service hybrid cloud technology methodology that we are able to provide our customers in making sure that they are safe, secure, and have the ability to manage their data effectively.
Des, that's a great point that you make about the acceleration in innovation, the move towards digital. And that's something that we have also seen at Omdia in terms of projects that were 3 or 5 years down the line got brought to the forefront. And a lot of the decisions around technology that were made during the pandemic were quite haphazard. People didn't have time to plan everything out. They didn't have time to evaluate the impact that a remote workforce is going to have on security, on access, and so on. And that's also a great point that you made when you talked about the fact that the fundamental way in which technology is leveraged has changed. So are there any specific technologies or products that you have found became more important to organizations when they have started to tweak their cloud strategy to accommodate a more remote workforce? Do you see any specific requirements that have come up?
Yeah, I mean, data sovereignty is always key. So making sure that companies know where their data sits and have access to that immediately is a huge priority. We are, in one sense, from a perspective of where we are on a technology timeline, the pandemic has come at a good time, if you can say
Yes.
so, right? Could you imagine if this happened in the 90s? It would be a very different situation, right? So
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
technology with regards to its data processing, ability to provide real-time insights, and ease of having access to their data is really, really important. And that has really focused on making sure that organizations look at cohesive cloud strategies. So I think organizations realize that having on-prem infrastructure takes a lot, right? So they need to keep the lights on. They're maintaining legacy platforms whereby they are quite slow, and therefore they saw cloud as a quick adoption that can really provide them with benefits, quick return on investment, and simplified operations that, in essence, provide agility, flexibility, and scale for organizations in growing their business quickly through very uncertain times. So there is a real importance when looking at cloud, I think, and I think it's not just focusing on the technology. There's a huge area whereby organizations need to focus on the people, the process, the policies, and the technology, and making sure a cohesive strategy is in place before deploying your technology through a cloud strategy is really, really important. And I think that, that is something that we've been really helping organizations through in this pandemic.
And why do you say that agility and security of the cloud infrastructure itself is a very important hybrid working? Because for now, when you talk about agility and security, it's always has been at the application layer. We talk about the apps having secure access, the apps being scalable. And yes, infrastructure does play an important role in it. But then, how does hybrid working, figure into the whole mix here?
So I think the importance is that our customers are looking towards business outcomes now. So they no longer want to be investing in legacy architecture on data center resource refreshes, et cetera, et cetera. There's a huge opportunity here to make a balance for hybrid ways of working so that organizations are receiving an as a service for their cloud strategy, enabling them to focus on their main operational day-to-day activities. And this then takes the burden off IT. So providing them with a cohesive hybrid cloud strategy is really, really important, helping them with flexibility as they grow and prepare for the unknown, I think. And I think the working from home hybrid way has fueled a new focus towards a cloud, emphasizing and growing cloud strategies in organizations.
And at the same time, we know that there is no single cloud model that exists within enterprises. We have either private cloud, public cloud, a mix of both. So can you tell us, I know we've been talking about the launch of Apex and what Dell is doing around that. Can you tell how Apex is able to bring together the best for both private and public clouds?
Yeah, so our customers tell us every day that they want ease, agility, and as a service models, but they don't want to be locked into any one platform. Right. So I think that's really the best of both worlds, really, is having that public and private cloud available that can enable customers to consume public cloud services and maintain control of their workloads that will balance data sovereignty with flexibility, scale, and growth. I think the industry is looking for simplicity, and fundamentally Apex is a new way that Dell is going to market. We want to be able to provide simplicity, agility, and control on where data sits, and also how it's controlled and how it's consumed, and how organizations can provide data consumption in an effective way. So what we're really recognizing is that, one, Apex is a hybrid cloud solution. Two, it's as a service. And three, it's consumed as OpEx. That really takes away the fundamental lock-in to any given platform. So what I really love about Apex is the transparency that it will provide our customers. It's not new technology. It's based on our broad portfolio of existing technology, but it's packaged to our customers in a more simplified way through our new Apex console, which will be deployed to customers when they sign up to our Apex strategy and service.
And I think that simplicity is something that we're all looking for. The more deeper that we get into this digital, economy, the more deeper we get into a digital enterprise, the more complex things become. And the ability to simplify obviously has great potential, because that makes life easier for everyone involved. It makes it easier to make decisions, whether it is financial decisions or whether it is architectural decisions around technology. It also helps in fine-tuning the roadmap to a much more structured level than we were able to do before. And I believe we also spoke about the fact that there's a lot of control and agility that brings that Apex brings to the organization. So can you comment quickly about how that is enabled, and do you work with all the existing providers that the enterprise would have? They don't have to change anything, do they?
No, exactly. So I think Dell has a really large ecosystem of storage and service providers. And I think what we're recognizing at Dell is there is a huge shift in how people want to manage their storage. They don't want it to be labor intensive. They don't want to have to re-platform their applications regularly. And they want to focus on how to balance and make sure that they provision for their data needs effectively. And I think that's really the important thing with Apex, is enabling organizations to have a stable platform that will allow them to prepare for the unknown and make sure that their data storage needs are available to them at peaks and troughs, so they don't have to waste time and money on over provisioning. And they also have access to it when they need. And this can be deployed, most importantly, at a co-location of choice through our partner, that is Equinix, or on-prem in their own data center. So this ease, simplicity, control really is a new operational methodology on how we're doing things at Dell. But really what it is at the forefront of how we are able to provide our customers with leading technology infrastructure to provide a new proposition within the marketplace. Basically, over time, you will see the Dell Technologies portfolio being included in the Apex offering, and it's going to be one of the broadest within the industry. And I think that's where I'm most excited about, with our products turning towards an as-a-service market and helping our customers become more efficient with how they consume cloud data storage services.
Des, we've been having such a wonderful conversation, and in the simplicity of Apex is definitely something that's going to bring value to organizations in an increasingly complex world. But as no enterprise, IT is same. No two enterprises have the same technology environment or the same solutions or partners they work with. So how does Apex and Dell work with organizations around simplifying the complexity of their IT environment as a whole? Because there's a lot going on. It's not, you just can't say that I'll plug this cloud in and take that out, and this is how it works, and this is how my data is going to flow. Because there's a lot of dependencies that need to be resolved. There's a lot of partners that you need to work with. So how does Dell work around those complexities in a hybrid environment?
I think the main thing is that our platforming is agnostic to any cloud provider. So once you kind of re-platform workloads or applications with Dell, that can also then be deployed in other areas, right? So it's not just tied into Dell Apex. I think that's the beauty of it. It's agnostic. So it's getting modernized, and then it's being put onto the Dell Apex platform. Now, we understand a lot of organizations are cash constrained, and there is a fundamental shift away from CapEx at the moment, and moving towards an OpEx kind of treatment. And I think that's one of the beauties of Dell Apex, is that we do 1-3 year terms, and organizations can have a base commit. The more that they commit on their base, the lower that the on-demand elements would be. We don't penalize people for going into their buffer. So we enable the platform to be providing customers with storage solutions as and when they need it. And I think the interesting thing around our new service is that we will have a customer success manager work with our customers, large and small. And really what it is again, as we've mentioned, it is self-service. Yes. So therefore we are developing a new Apex console, which is a dashboard in essence, showing our customers real-time insight and showing them true pricing transparency. And that is a really key feature for us, is having insight onto where they are with regards to their usage and understanding where they are with their pricing at any given point. And I think that will help our customers remove any complexity around cloud architecture, and also provide them with a modern platform to provide the service and products that their customers need.
That's very exciting to hear as well. And we at Omdia will be looking forward to hearing more around how Dell is bringing more of its portfolio under Apex and simplifying life for makers across the world. Thank you so much, Des, for being here with us today. And we love this conversation and looking forward to talking to you again.